Good morning. This is your weekly update with Jim Stewart. I'm the Chief Investment Officer here at Worth Asset Management. Today is the end of the month, July 31st, 2023, and I'm going to go over your three threes for the week. I'm going to go over our top 10 major asset classes, their performance, and how we're positioned on the short-term and intermediate-term basis. Then I'm also going to look at a chart of the S&P 500 and look at the support and resistance zones for that market. And then I'm going to look at the top three market movers for the week. So let's jump on in.
Okay, let's go over the top three market headlines from last week. Earlier in the week, we had both central banks from the US and Europe both raise interest rates by 25 basis points to fight off inflation. And then on Thursday, we had the initial estimate for the second quarter GDP for the US, and that came in stronger than expected, coming in at 2.4% versus 2%. So that was a surprise. The market didn't necessarily like it, so it sold off on Thursday. But then we got the cooling inflation data from the PCE, which is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, coming in slightly lower from 3.8 down to 3.0. The market liked that. Everything went up on Friday, from gold to bonds to equities. All right, let's go over the top 10 major asset classes, their performance, and how we're positioned on a short-term and intermediate-term basis. On a short-term basis, which is less than 3 weeks, we are still bearish on the US dollar and bullish basically on everything else. It's been a nice little short-term run. If we zoom out over 3 months, there really hasn't been too many changes except one. We still are bearish on the US dollar, the bonds, and gold, bullish on everything else, and commodities just turned bullish on a intermediate term basis. It was already on a short term basis, and so we've got to keep an eye on that. If oil and gas start to rise and other commodities, the prices of those, then it's going to be sticky on the inflation side, which is not going to be good because they're trying to raise interest rates to bring it down. So that's an important asset class to watch moving forward. All right, let's go over the chart of the S&P 500. As you remember, we started adding back at the end of March on our equities, and it's been a nice run, up 15% since that time. But let's take a look at the support and resistance zones. We are in this pretty large resistance zone, and we are tapping the top end in the 4,600 range. If earnings continue to do well, we could break out of this resistance zone, and then the next one is in the 4,800, which would be at all-time highs for the S&P 500. So we shall see if we can break through here, or if we get mixed type of earnings reports, we may kind of stay in this zone moving forward. All right, let's go over the top three market movers for this week. On Tuesday and Thursday, we have the Purchasing Managers Index, PMI data. Tuesday, we get the ISM report for manufacturing, and the projections are 48.1 versus 46, still in a contraction. And on Thursday, we get the ISM report for non-manufacturing, or for services. We are a service economy, and their projections are at 53, so we're above that 50 line, so we're expansionary on the services, and so that will be a positive for the U.S. We also get a lot of labor market job updates this week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tuesday, we get the JOLTS report for June, and that tracks the number of openings, hires, quits, and separations. And right now, the projections are 9.5 versus 9.8 in May. And then on Wednesday, we get the private sector payrolls, and the projections are for that to be 210,000. And we'll have to see, because we had a huge number in June, and we'll see if there's any revisions on the private sector. So that will be telling on Wednesday. And then finally, on Friday, we get the big non-farm payroll, the jobs reports, and right now the projections are at 184,000, which is slightly below last month's at 209. So we'll see where these jobs are coming or if they are coming. We also get a lot of earnings this week. We get two of the biggest reports will be on Thursday coming from Apple and Amazon. So those will be big to watch. We also get a handful of big pharma companies, Pfizer, Merck, Amgen, Humana, Gilead Sciences, and Cigna. And then we also get earnings from other corporations, Toyota, Caterpillar, Starbucks, Uber, Airbnb, and PayPal, among others. And here's a listing of them if you're looking for your company that you may own. Here they are for this week. That's it for this week. Thank you again for joining us. Our next update is Monday, August 7th. As always, continue to subscribe, like, and follow, and we shall see you next week. Have a great week trading.